Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hitting your comic shops today. Now this week we have quite a few first appearances for you guys. I think we have 10 altogether, plus about 5 honorable mentions, so 15 titles in all to go through. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending September 24th, 2021. Now first up from DC Comics, Aquaman the Becoming #1. This features the first appearance of the Deluge. Now Aquaman isn't necessarily one of DC's strongest titles, but the feature film did really well, so this title could be important. It all depends on what they do with this character. This is one you definitely want to keep your eye on. There's quite a few first appearances this week, like we mentioned, so put this one on your B-list for now. Keep an eye on it. If you can pick it up, we recommend doing so because, like I said before, the Aquaman feature film did well. If they introduce Deluge into a feature film or a streaming series, it might be important, but right now we don't know enough. Put it on your B-list for now. Next up from DC Comics, Batman #113. This features the first full appearance of Peacekeeper X. Now, DC has been really pushing this Peacekeeper X character. We really don't know the importance of this, but if they're pushing it this hard, it might be important going forward in future titles, feature film, streaming series. So this may be one you want to pick up. This is a Batman title. Batman is one of DC's strongest titles, so we do recommend picking this one up. Next up from DC Comics, Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2 #4. This features the first appearance of the Muscle, a mercenary. Now this is the first appearance of a new character in a Batman title, but this is a Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2 title. This isn't one of the flagship titles, Batman or Detective Comics, so this one here may not be as important. It is the first appearance of a new character in a Batman title. We do typically recommend picking those up. We do have a lot of first appearances this week, so put this one on your B-list for now. Definitely give it some consideration though. Now next up from DC Comics, Flash #774. This features the first appearance of Dr. Nightmare. Now Flash has always been a pretty strong title for DC Comics, not necessarily one of the most popular, but there's been a lot of events in the Flash title series that are important in the DC universe. This is the first appearance of Dr. Nightmare, a new character in a Flash title. This one here may be worth picking up. We do recommend putting this one here on your buy list. Add this one here to your collection. If you can't get them all, put it on your B list, but put it pretty high on there. We do recommend adding this one. Now next up from DC Comics, Suicide Squad King Shark #1. This has a lot of first appearances. The first appearance of Queen Tiger, first appearance of King Roach, first appearance of Prince Nematode, first appearance of Princess Peregrine, the first appearance of Man King, and the reintroduction of King Shark's father. Now King Shark did feature rather heavily in the last Suicide Squad movie directed by James Gunn, but the character wasn't necessarily a fan favorite. And this title we don't really think is going to be all that heavily collected either. There are a lot of first appearances in here, so for the dollar value, it might be worth picking this one up. For $3 or $4, you get 5 or 6 first appearances. They could spin these off into other titles, feature films, streaming series, what have you. But given the title alone, the King Shark franchise, not necessarily very strong, but there are a lot of first appearances. This one might be worth considering. Put this one here on your B list. Give it some consideration though, because there are a lot of first appearances for your money. Next up from DC Comics, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow #4. This features the first team appearance of the Brigands, a group of murderous nomads. Now Supergirl, once again, not necessarily one of DC Comics' strongest titles, but it is rather popular. So this one here may be one you want to pick up. This is the first appearance, or the first team appearance, of a new group within this title. Give this one here some consideration, but we think that you could put this one here on your B-list. Now next up from Marvel Comics, The United States of Captain America #4. This features the first appearance of Ari Agbayani, a Filipino-American hero. This one here, we do think you should pick up. All these United States of Captain America titles feature new first appearances of characters of different ethnic descent. We do think these are important to add to your collection. This one here is a Filipino-American hero. Pick this one here up, add it to your collection for the cover price. We don't think you can go wrong with this one. Now next up from Marvel Comics, X-Corp #5. This features the first team appearance of a Nobles Pharmaceuticals mercenary team. Now typically we say pick up any first appearances, origin stories, first team appearances in Marvel titles. That being said though, X-Corp is not necessarily one of Marvel's strongest titles, and this is the first appearance of a new mercenary team within this title. This is one we think you could put on your B-list for now. Take a look at it, give it some consideration, but you can put it on your B-list. Now next up from Marvel Comics, X-Men Legends #7. This features the first appearance of Gigi and the first appearance of Hino-chan. This is one we definitely think you should pick up. This features the first appearance of new characters within the X-Men universe. X-Men universe, very popular, very strong, very heavily collected. People do love the X-Men. This is one we definitely think you should add. Finally, from Marvel Comics, Moon Knight number 3. This features the first full appearance of Hunter's Moon. Once again, this is one we definitely think you should pick up. This is the first appearance in a Moon Knight title. Moon Knight going to be very, very popular. He's being introduced into the MCU. Marvel is going to be pushing this character and marketing this character very strongly. He might even have a standalone film. This is one we definitely think you should add for the cover price. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Frontiersman number 1. Frontiersman is coaxed out of retirement by an environmentalist group, only to find that being a spokesman makes him a target for old and new enemies alike. Now, Image Comics has had some of their titles optioned for TV or film. This one may be worth considering adding to your collection, but being a spokesman for an environmentalist group, we don't know how exciting that's going to be, how popular this title is going to be. Give it some consideration, but you can put this one on your B list. Next up from Ablaze Comics, He Who Fights Monsters number 1. On All Hallows Eve, a community struggles under the boot of the Nazi war machine when supernatural forces come to play a part in the conflict. Now this one here does sound like it can lend itself very well to TV or film or a streaming series. This is one we definitely think you should give it some consideration, picking this up for your collection. We would recommend adding this one if you can. If you can't, put it on your B list. Definitely put it pretty high though. This one here sounds like it has promise. Now next up from DC Comics, Batman Secret Files Miracle Molly number 1. This features the origin of Miracle Molly. Now this one here, we do think is worth picking up. Miracle Molly was introduced into the Batman franchise and people do like this character, and this is her origin story. For the cover price, this one was worth adding to your collection. Now next up from Marvel Comics, Death of Doctor Strange number 1. This features the death of Doctor Strange. Now, as we all know, Marvel characters don't die for very long. They're always brought back pretty immediately. People typically rush out and buy these death of character titles once they occur, but going forward, they're never typically all that good of an investment because, like I said, the characters don't stay dead for very long. So this one here, probably worth putting on your B list. You could probably skip over this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Gamma Flight number 4. This features the origin of Stockpile. Now this one here may be worth picking up. This is the origin story in a Marvel title, and Stockpile is getting some traction. People do like this character, and this is the origin story. So for the cover price, we think this one's worth picking up. So there you have the 15 titles that we have for you guys this week. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.